The two trade acquisitions, I think that I have my opinions here, so I'm gonna stand back a little bit, but I'm talking about Shintaro Fujinami and Jack Flaherty. Rocco, we've talked about this before, but some people are starting to worry. I'm going to save my thoughts here. Is there any worry that you have for the two acquisitions that the Orioles have had? Flaherty obviously had his roughest start. Fuji has had his moments, but also his inconsistencies are documented.
What do we have? A month and a few days left in the regular season. I think that'll be a good barometer as far as if we should worry or not. I think right now you got to think Fujinami he was not great with the A's as a starter. And then he moved to the bullpen and he got better. I mean, his ERA doesn't really, show him any love having a +8 ERA coming over here. But Mike Elias is not going to go out and get a guy that is a bona fide scrub, as Stephen A. Smith would say. Like he's not going to get a guy that is just like bottom of the barrel ERA wise if he doesn't see potential in him. And I think what the O's saw in Fujinami is what we are seeing when he's at the top of his game. And that's the ability to throw gas, locate it, nasty splitter, a high-speed fastball. And this is a guy, if the O's pitching staff continues to work with him, because right now he's still a work in progress. He really is. He's not perfect on the mound, and he might not be for some time, but they're working with him, and I truly trust in the O's pitching staff that, their coaches, that they're going to get him right and get him consistent. And we've seen flashes of it. So with Fujinami, I wouldn't worry too much about him until it's like late in September and he's, walking the bases loaded and hitting two guys. Get that out now. Get it out now. Fine. Obviously, you still want to win the division, so don't do it too much. But one game we can deal with. When it starts to become 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, then it's going to become an issue. As far as Flaherty goes, I think he had one bad outing. I think they jumped on him early in that inning. And he gives up the grand slam early. That doesn't help, and that doesn't help a pitcher's confidence. I think Flaherty's going to be just fine. He's 27 years old. I asked you, Rip, before, like, does he have to be the guy? We don't think he has to be the guy, but you think that he can be the guy. I think he can as well. So looking at the rotation, I think Flaherty doesn't have to lead the way right now, but he can lead the way going forward if he has to.
I agree. I think what, the dead silence?
Yeah. Radio silent.
Oh, I didn't know if Brad wanted to say anything, and I get it. You're giving me shit that it was called the Ryan Ripken show. So, I mean, hell. Yeah. Yeah.
So what I will say is that Fuji has shown enough for me, for me to have an opinion that he is that dude. I mean, I think that we're going to see more of the Fuji that we saw against the Rays than not. And Flaherty, same thing. Well, I think that with Flaherty having a change of scenery from St. Louis, and the Flaherty that we saw in Toronto is probably more of the Flaherty that we're going to see moving forward. So I don't think that there's any real cause for concern here. Fuji's going to have his inconsistencies that we already knew about anyway. But at the same time, the guy's just lights out. I mean, it's really hard to hit a baseball at 103 miles an hour.
And that, I love that you brought that up. So for one, and everyone go read my tweets. I don't mix words with it. I think that Fuji can be very special, and you have to keep faith with guys in situations. And I know you can look at it and go, well, wait a minute, like he's 29 years old or whatever. He's not a rookie. Well, he is a rookie in Major League Baseball. It's first time playing in America. Steve Johnson talked about last week that the balls in itself are different. You went from an organization in the Oakland A's that were just terrible, first off. And then secondly, You then come to a situation where every moment's tense now. You were a starter, then you're a reliever. The thing is that gets me, you can't teach what he has. You can help people get better, but you can't teach to throw that hard. And I would be worried if Fuji didn't have dominant moments. But here's the thing. He almost had an immaculate inning. He almost had where he had a save against the Mariners. So he showed that he can bounce back in situations. And with that guy on second base, he needs to get more consistent out of the stretch and be more out of the stretch with runners on base. But when I say it's this much of a difference to get to being fixed, it really is. And once that moment comes, people are going to be sitting here going, well, man, like I can't believe I doubted it, because those are guys you don't let go of. And there's a reason why, and I bring it up. Felix Bautista was this exact way. Felix Bautista had a very tough time getting out of a certain level in the minors, but the Orioles were looking at going, well, he's got a lot of talent. We're not just going to give up on him, and we're going to let him try to figure it out. And yes, he was way younger than Fuji. But the point is that talent doesn't just exist everywhere. So stay with him. Flaherty on the same thing with you guys. He's had 2 good starts for me. And then one, just the Padres just, smacked him. Who cares? I want to see how he can bounce back. If he bounces back and the Orioles' MO this year is get punched in the mouth and bounce back from that punch.
Yep.
If Flaherty can do that with his start, that's the biggest thing. Then I'll go, yep, no problems. But if it's something that keeps going and lingers, then you're going to have the questions. But I think he's going to follow the MO of this Baltimore Orioles team